So it looks like this is something that's actually going to happen, to much of everyone's surprise. But apparently, we're going to be getting a Bioshock movie on Netflix sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when. I don't know if it's going to be 2024 or 2025 or later down the line. But apparently, um, it's currently in the developmental phase because it was discovered that 2K and Take Two Interactive is going to be working with Vertigo Entertainment, and it's going to be, I guess, a film adaptation of Bioshock, probably the original game, which came out back in 2007. And it was a game that was really big when it first came out. And a lot of people love the series between the late 2000s and the early teens. But it seemed like over the past decade, the series has been pretty much dead, or at least, we haven't gotten a sequel at all for Bioshock Infinite, which I believe came out back in 2013. And like for the most part, I do feel that there's a lot of money that was left on the table with the BioShock series within the past decade. I'm a bit shocked that 2K has not released a sequel for BioShock Infinite just yet. And like, I actually wrote about this about a year ago. I believe it was like sometime in like June 2022. My website, I had actually wrote about the fact that, BioShock definitely deserved a movie because you look at like the plot for like the original game concerning the rapture and um the whole thing taking place in like a time period that resembled the 60s, but it had like futuristic, like aesthetics and looks to it. And I think that's something that it was really creative for its time. And it was designed to be like a first person shooter, but it kind of felt like a survival horror type game with its dark atmosphere and all that other stuff. And yeah, I'm a bit shocked that we're getting a BioShock film adaptation all these years later because I feel like this is something that should have happened when the series was still very popular. At this point, I'm not exactly sure whether or not people in general have forgotten about the BioShock series or don't care. But to me, the fact that we're supposed to be getting a film adaptation of BioShock, I'm hoping that's some type of indication that 2K plans on releasing a new game sometime in the future. Or hopefully that's a sign that they're going to be releasing another Bioshock game sometime in the future because it really doesn't make too much sense to release a film like about a decade later or like 15 years later or whatever, and then don't have a game for it. It's like if you have a video game that comes before the film or after the film, that's how keep the series fresh and hot and all that other stuff. Because when it comes down to film adaptations and video game movies and video games that get their own TV series, it seems like that's something that's becoming more and more common nowadays. So this is something that doesn't really surprise me as much as it did um back in 2022, because in 2022, um you weren't seeing like you weren't seeing too many video games getting like film adaptations or anything like that. The only thing that I know of that got a film adaptation within the past couple of years is like, Sonic the Hedgehog, Uncharted, and you know, and I believe you got the Super Mario Brothers movie that came out earlier this year. But it seems like we're getting more and more film adaptations and TV series for all these video games that should have gotten these things like many, many years ago. But it is what it is. It's better late than never. And as far as the BioShock film adaptation is concerned, I'm interested in knowing whether or not it's going to be based off of one of the games, or whether or not it's going to be a standalone movie altogether.